Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our AEW series in TEW2020. I, of course, am CR Daredevil, and it is the Dynamite after Revolution 2020, and we will have to see what's going to happen after that big show. If you have not watched that episode yet, you should definitely go back and watch that before you watch this, because we will have lots of spoilers happening in this show for that show. But it is Dynamite, and we are on the road now to Fighter Fest, which actually takes place in uh 4 weeks in game. Technically 5 weeks. It's 5 Dynamites between now and Fighter Fest happening. So we have that to look forward to. But we're going to start off, as we have been recently, with our unofficial dark show. And kind of go from there. In front of 2,864 people at the venue at UCF. We have a 4-way women's matchup to open the show that sees Karen Q get the victory over Alice Crawley, Aspen Rose, and Zoe Sky in 824. When Karen Q gets Aspen Rose to submit to a spring roll, 36 rating for the match. 35 from Karen Q, 33 from Zoe Sky, 32 from Aspen Rose, and 29 from Alice Crawley. So not too bad of a match. Getting some of these young talents some exposure and whatnot. They're all still in handshake deals, so they could still work other promotions as we are, using them at times and kind of go from there. But Karen Q with a victory there. After that, we have the debuting Desmond Xavier, who ends up picking up the victory over Sean Dean in 7:53 by pinfall. 51 rating for the match, 57 from Desmond Xavier, which is really good. His gimmick is a rascal gimmick. It's basically just kind of like him just kind of on his own, like, kind of somewhat of a rascal gimmick, but just kind of like by himself kind of rascal gimmick. For those who've never kind of seen the Rascals in action, probably should check that out. But yeah, so Desmond Xavier's here in AEW. We do have him on a actual handshake deal, and with a 57 inning performance like that, he might be immediately heading to the main show here soon. I was expecting it to be like 30s, maybe 40s or so. I wasn't expecting a 57 right off the bat, so that's a really good way to start off his AEW career so far. Then we have a quick little video package for 4 women who are going to be debuting here in AEW in a tag team matchup. We have Roxy, who debuts her fan favorite gimmick, which gets an adequate rating. We have Zaya Brookside, who debuts a family tradition gimmick, which gets a great rating. Holly Cromwell, she debuts her witch gimmick, which gets an adequate rating. And then Charlie Cruel, who debuts her crazy gimmick, which only gets poor rating. So 3 for 4, I guess, in that one. This got a 20. This was just kind of a way to get these 4 quickly debuted with their stuff here. Small boost to charisma, so that's good for her. Losses don't damage popularity, but she can be penalized for losing to a comedy gimmick. That's not a big deal, because I don't think we have too many comedy gimmicks, so we should be good there. But then they debut here on Dark. The reason why we kind of highlighted these 4 for them is because they're kind of being billed as like up-and-coming stars in women's wrestling kind of thing. And they have a 38 rated tag team match, which isn't too bad. Side Brookside definitely carried the matchup, but that's fine. Roxy and Side Brookside with the victory over Holly Cromwell and Charlie Cruel in 6:33 from Brookside pin Cruel. 44 from Brookside, 27 from Roxy, 23 from Cruel, and 27 from Cromwell. So not too bad. Not too bad. It's gonna be one of those things that like we have them around on handshake deals, kind of do different things as well, but at the same time we're also gonna be kind of using them in different, beyond more than just Dark. Occasionally we'll see Zaya, might immediately start getting a little bit of a push too with that 44 in-ring performance, which is pretty good, but there's that. And then our main event of Dark this week sees Dalton Castle defeat QT Marshall in 7:46 by pinfall to Bangarang. 36 from Dalton Castle, who's really off his game, which sucks, and 30 from QT Marshall. So 36 rating for the match here, as Castle gets the victory on the main event of Dark. All right, from there we go to our opening segment for Dynamite, which is a Jericho in-ring promo. After what happened at Revolution 2020, he is bandaged up. He's, beat up, hurting, all that kind of stuff. And he says that Moxley cheated him in that Falls Count Anywhere matchup. That Moxley was clearly taking advantage, clearly taking advantage of two young guys in the Thrill Seekers. He clearly, was kind of took advantage of the fact that Jericho doesn't wrestle that garbage style that Moxley is used to. That he knows that if he faced him in a one-on-one match, like a normal one-on-one match with rules and stated and all that stuff, that he could easily beat Jon Moxley. And Moxley shows up in the crowd and says, "Listen, I can beat you with weapons, without weapons. It doesn't really matter to me. So if you want to throw down a challenge for a rematch, I'll kick your ass again. Like, I have no problem with that." Jericho's like, "Well, I'm not saying that I wanted a rematch right now. I'm just saying that it was because I didn't have It's because the weapons were involved. That was why things played out at Revolution the way they did." Mox is like, "Well, it sounds like you're kind of being a little bit of a coward right now. Like, kind of throw out these excuses, and now you don't want to try to back up your claim. Like, what the heck's going on?" Jericho's like, "I'm no coward. I'm no coward at all." And he gets frustrated. And he slams the mic down and leaves the ring quickly. So, yeah, we'll have to kind of see what happens between those two heading forward. Got a 77. Really good way to start off the show. Then we get a 50 rated segment that sees Tommy End standing by with the blade and says that a few nights ago at Revolution, he shocked the wrestling world by defeating Cody Rhodes. And, the Dark Order retained the tag team titles. They retained the women's world title. And the domination from the Dark Order continues here tonight because the Blade's going to go out there and destroy a member of the AEW roster. And then he goes out and he beats Lee Johnson at 7:04 by pinfall with the Flatliner. 49 rated for the match, 54 from the Blade, 33 from Lee Johnson. So the Dark Order continue to have this kind of domination lately. They seem to be unstoppable right now. It's going to end up having to take some group of people to probably end up putting a stop to them. They're going to have to actually, kind of get their forces together, so to speak, to actually be able to stop this group, the Dark Order. After that, Matt Sydal comes down for a matchup, but he gets blindsided by Miro, of all people. Miro, of course, laying waste to Austin Creed at Revolution. Potentially putting him on the shelf. We're not sure. We haven't heard from Austin Creed since that. But Miro goes and blindsides Matt Sydal here, so it looks like maybe Matt Sydal is the next victim of Miro. We'll have to see. But 59 rating here for the segment. Pretty good stuff there. Then after that, tag team action kind of goes along with what happened at Revolution, where we see the Thrill Seekers take on the Inner Circle's Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara. And in 10:05, Trevor Lee pins Sammy Guevara with a small package driver to win it for the Thrill Seekers. Jake Hager got a 69. He carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. 56 from Trevor Lee, 57 from Andrew Everett, and 47 from Sammy Guevara. 67 rating for the match itself is really good, though. I'll take a 67 for this match. But there you go. So Thrill Seekers getting a big victory here over the Inner Circle. Able to defeat them. It's got to clearly not make Jericho too happy. The fact that the Inner Circle just lost to them. After that, we get a backstage segment where El Generico's walking. He's kind of a little bit of pain and stuff. When all of a sudden Marty Martinez comes flying from out of nowhere, he slams him into a wall, knocking him down to the ground, and then grabs his finger and just snaps it. He just kind of like, quote unquote, breaks his finger, kind of snaps it. And El Generico starts screaming, speaking Spanish, whoever, yelling out for help in Spanish. And officials come running and try to, separate the two of them. And Martinez just kind of backs off and just starts kind of chuckling in this weird, creepy way before walking off. So El Generico just got his finger snapped with, his broken finger apparently just got snapped. So we'll have to see what happens with that heading forward. But that got a 43, to be expected. Then we have Ashley Lane with a quick promo about Hikaru Shida. She says that the tag match at Revolution means nothing, and that Shida will not be able to prove that she is better than Ashley Lane until the two meet one-on-one in the ring. Kind of saying that, kind of somewhat throwing out a challenge there, but not really. She says until that point, though, she will continue to be the queen of AEW. And when that time comes, she will make Shida bow down to her. So there you go. Tag team action sees the Dark Order's female team of Rosemary and the Bunny defeat Team Sea Stars in 741 when the Bunny pinned Ashley Fox with the alley driver. I forgot to change the name of it. 49 rated for the match, 51 from the Bunny, 40 from Rosemary, 43 from Fox, and 33 from EXO. Kind of surprisingly that Rosemary only had a 40. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah, Dark Order continuing to have their just inconsistency, I guess. The Dark Order continue to have their run right now, where they're just continuing to beat anyone who they end up in the ring with at this point, as they defeat Team Sea Stars. It's not necessarily important what happens with this match, though. It's more of what happens after the match, because afterwards, as the Bunny and Rosemary are celebrating the victory, Chris Statlander and Alexis Kaufman come out onto the stage to stare them down. Kaufman's kind of sporting still a little bit of the mist on her face, which is kind of weird because that happened like 3 or 4 days ago, but for some reason it's still kind of somewhat there. But she's, she's not happy. She's kind of got this kind of like weird looking smirk on her face, and Stats kind of standing there next to her, just trying to look as serious as possible, that kind of thing. So it looks like Kaufman and Statlander are not done with the Dark Order at this point. 49 rated for the segment here. Then after that, we have a mixed tag team matchup that got announced by Tony Khan on social media, thanks to what happened at Revolution, as we see Hangman Adam Page and Kaylee Ray defeat Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker in 10:32. Kaylee Ray pinned Britt Baker with a gory bomb, and Cole head and shoulders above everyone. 44 from Britt, 64 from Adam Cole, 52 from Kaylee Ray, and 46 from Hangman Adam Page. Gained heat for the storyline between the women here. Kaylee Ray was really off her game, so she actually probably could have had a match or a performance that would have been really close to Adam Cole if she wasn't off her game. But the match got a 59. It's not too bad. I'll take it for sure. This is obviously your typical mixed tag team matchup, so we haven't really introduced any intergender matches here in AEW. I kind of want to, because I'm a proponent of intergender matches, because I feel like a lot of companies will do it pretty well, especially depending on who the women are that are involved in it. There's kind of a little bit of teasing during this matchup, but there wasn't actually any male versus female fighting happening in it. But it's, with this tag match, and we've had a couple of other mixed tag matches in the past, however, it's still, like, AEW still kind of continuously teasing the idea of possibly that happening, but not here. But 59 rating, not bad for this matchup here. Then, yeah, I should have thought about that. We have Mia Yim come out. She says that she hasn't had much of an opportunity recently, but she is demanding that somebody come out from the back to answer an open challenge right now. And it gets answered by the debuting Maki Ito. Maki Ito is here in AEW. Of course, at this point, she hadn't really started becoming too known by Americans. So they're just like, all right, who the heck is this random Japanese wrestler person? Gets a 31 rating because I kind of forgot about the fact that she has like no English speaking at this point. So probably could have been a little bit better. But she does debut her cute and cocky gimmick, which is very good rating. Can't go wrong with that. The match itself gets a 43. Mia Yim defeats Maki Ito in 609 by pinfall and STO. 43 rating for Mia Yim, 43 rating for the match, 30 for Maki Ito. So yeah, this was basically just Mia Yim getting a victory, and Maki making her debut, but unfortunately not looking great at it, as she takes a loss in about 6 minutes. But yeah, Maki Ito's another one who we're going to have kind of, at times here, not necessarily like on a weekly basis, but she'll be around to, kind of be used at times and kind of build stuff up from her. Then after that, we have an interesting little segment, even though it lost heat for the storyline, as the Young Bucks. They have a bit of a promo. I don't know what new catchphrase Matt Jackson invented. I wasn't planning for that, but whatever. Um, but Young Bucks have a promo here, and they're kind of expressing some disappointment. They say like, man, we tried again to beat Uno and Grayson, and we couldn't get the job done. Like I don't understand what we have to do. We're like I don't understand what we have to do to be able to beat them. We're supposed to be the best tag team in the world. We've beaten, pretty much every other tag team here in AEW except for them. We can't seem to beat them, and we're not sure why. We're not sure what we need to do to be able to beat them at this point. So they say, that we're going to try to figure out what we need to do to be able to beat them and become the AEW World Tag Team Champions. So 54 rating. Not a strong promo, but I'll still take it. Then after that, turns out that Austin Creed is not really too hurt because he does have a match against Brian Cage here tonight, but it is still like kind of obvious that he's hurt because he's still kind of, wincing a little bit. His ribs are taped up, all that kind of stuff. And of course, the wrong person he was, to be in the ring with would be the man standing across the ring from him, Brian Cage, who of course is not happy about the fact that he lost to Kenny Omega at Revolution. And so Brian Cage just takes out a whole bunch of aggression on him, a whole bunch of anger on him, because of course, Creed is Omega's friend. And Creed kind of gets wrecked in about 8 minutes. Like, this isn't even, the in-ring performances are kind of similar, but this is kind of a little bit more of like I don't want to say a full-on squash, but it's kind of close to it. Like, Creed doesn't really get much of anything in the way of offense in, because he just, he's way too beat up by what happened at Revolution, and at the same time, Cage is just way too pissed about what happened to him at Revolution. So, but they got a 68 rating as Brian Cage gets the victory in 808 by pinfall with a Drill Claw, getting the win there. Then we get Jay Lethal with an in-ring promo where he talks about this past Sunday, and he says that Pac, he says he wants Pac to listen closely because he knows, they know, Pac knows, Lethal knows, Truth Martini down here knows, everybody in this arena knows, everybody watching knows that Jay Lethal should be standing here with the AEW World Championship around his waist. And the only reason why he's not the champion right now is because of that big buffoon known as Samoa Joe. He says that if Joe just has lost his mind about the fact that Lethal is better than him and proved it that he's better than him at Breakdown a few months ago, but that if Joe wants to continuously get in his face, then he's going to have to do something about it. 69 rating here is Lethal trying to find some confidence, apparently. Just, now granted, Joe wasn't here. If Joe was here, Lethal probably would have ran away like he has been. But Lethal seems like he's kind of finding some confidence, but he's also, kind of stating like he feels like the only reason why he's not the world champion right now is because of Joe. And to be fair, he's probably not fully wrong. Joe showed up when Lethal seemed like he had the championship won. Granted, Lethal was trying to hit Pac with the championship, but he still showed up, and he still kept him from winning the championship. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And then in our main event of the evening, we get a 66 rated matchup here, which sees the Death Triangle, Pac, Penta El Zero M, and Rey Fenix defeat Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian, SCU, in 11:27 when Pac pinned Daniels with corkscrew shooting star press, or the Black Arrow, if you will. 66 rating for the matchup. Kind of want to put this match in the main just because, granted, SCU is not necessarily main event picture right now. Although Kazarian had a 62 in-ring performance, so that's really good. But I kind of want to put this match in the main because it did feature the world champion. And I do also want to keep, I do want to kind of get the Lucha Bros. I feel like I haven't really done a whole lot with them recently, so I kind of wanted to get them kind of up there being used as well. So there you go. You got a 66 rating, which is not a bad rating at all. But Death Triangle get the victory, with the world champion getting the pinfall to end the match. Now, this is the main event, but you'll see that the next segment button is lit up. There's not a follow-up segment to this. This was the main event match, but there is a segment after this, where it's a Cody Rhodes promo. Cody Rhodes is going to, it got announced on social media that Cody Rhodes wants to address the public after his loss at Revolution to Tommy End. So Cody Rhodes is out there, kind of promo. As you can see there, he kind of already spoiled to what's happened here. Cody Rhodes is out there talking about taking the loss to Tommy End. He says, Tommy End was just better than him on that night. He's not going to make excuses. He's going to look for the next fight. He's going to look for the next, the next battle he has to go through, all that kind of stuff. When all of a sudden somebody slides into the ring and super kicks the hell out of him. And when the crowd is wondering who the hell it is, the person lifts the hood off their head. They were in a hood sweatshirt. They lift the hood off their head. And it is the person who in another company went by another name, but here is going by their real name, Jonathan Fatu. He is here in AEW, and he has just laid out Cody Rhodes to end Dynamite. 57 rating here. I forgot to start the storyline, or I forgot to set up the storyline between the two of them, so it would trigger with this, but you know what, that's fine. We'll get there. But there you go. So Dynamite ends with Jonathan Fatu standing in the ring over the laid out Cody Rhodes. Fatu's debuting his family tradition gimmick, which gets a great rating. So there's that. So, Jonathan Fatu is here. Let me click on this button really quick, though. 69 rating. Nice. Very, very nice rating for Dynamite. Increased popularity in 47 regions. So, Jonathan Fatu is here. Now, a couple things I need to clarify. His brother's not with him. For some reason, I don't know if maybe it was just a mod that was set up that way, or maybe it actually is set up like that in real life. But for some reason, only one of them had their contract come up. The other one is still under contract with WWE. And I swear, I thought this was one of the weirdest things ever in this game. I don't know if maybe it was just the mod. I don't know what was going on with it exactly. But he actually left WWE. WWE did not renew his contract. I don't know why, but he left WWE. I didn't have to compete with him with WWE to get him signed. Case in point, which I can show you, he's under a handshake deal right now. Like, he's not under a written deal. So I don't know why they dropped him. I don't know why the in-game WWE decided to cut him loose, but they did. So now he's under a handshake deal with us. I wanted to do handshake deal because I wasn't sure. He has stats. He obviously has some matches I could look back at WWE with, however, but I don't know what his in-ring performance is going to look like for us. So I wanted to make sure that it's, he's got some good in-ring performances before I lock him down to an actual written deal. But there you go. He's here in AEW now, and he has attacked Cody Rhodes. We'll have to see where things go with that. It is going to be an ongoing thing, the storyline between the two of them, that I have planned for that. But we'll kind of see how that plays out. It's also something that's been built up for a little while now, because it was actually like a month or so ago, I think, that I made the signing in-game month-wise or no. Because he just... So, funny enough, we did a Revolution pay-per-view, and then literally he became available for us to use the day after the pay-per-view. Because originally my mindset was going to be that I was going to debut him at the pay-per-view. It was going to be either he was going to answer the open challenge, or he was going to attack Cody after the open challenge. And then I realized that I had my dates slightly off, and he was available the day after the pay-per-view. So I couldn't do that way. So that's why we did it here. So this segment, that segment that you just saw there, and Dynamite was probably would have happened at the pay-per-view had I not had to worry about that. But there is that. That is that is a thing that we are doing. Again, I'm not I'm not I didn't steal him away from WWE or anything like that. We just, he was out of WWE. That was just kind of what happened there. Let's see here. This way's probably faster. Yeah. So just so just like I said, just so you have proof. I don't think anybody, Yeah, nobody on that list is going to get spoiled anyway. But just you have proof. The very first name on that list right there, Jonathan Fatu, he's there under a handshake deal. Now, granted, we're paying him $1,300 a show, which is kind of crazy. But but yeah, he's on a handshake deal. I don't know why WWE cut him. I don't know why every other company isn't trying to hire him right now. Because it's not like his stats are, they're not fantastic, but they're also not bad. Like he's 54 pop in the US, 54 pop in Canada there as well. Psychology's a 64, so that's not terrible. All his stats here are like 50s and higher, except for, a few of the in-ring stuff. But like entertainment-wise, he's in the 60s. Basics, he's at an 84. Consistency, he's at a 76. Stamina is at a 77. So, he's going to be a pretty good in-ring talent. I just, for some reason, in-game, WWE is just like, nope, we're not bringing it back. I don't know. I don't know why. So I don't know, but that's that. So nice to be here in AEW. And that's gonna be kind of what we're gonna be focusing on. If we do get anybody else from WWE, I know I said in the past I wasn't gonna try to get too many more people from them. Honestly, anybody who I get from WWE at this point is gonna be people who in-game WWE is just like, yeah, we're cutting them. It's like, okay, like that, then we'll get them kind of thing, because then they're technically available to everybody on the indies, as opposed to, oh, we stole them away from the WWE kind of thing. So we'll see. Ratings for the night, 428,000 viewers. Good to see there. 69 rating. Very nice. NXT had a 55. They had 789,000 viewers. Had Tommaso Ciampa and Steve Corino defeat Jackson Riker and Ricochet. Still a weird universe where Steve Corino is set to be a wrestler in this. I don't know why. But there's that. And then NXT UK happened as well. One thing I did want to look at really quick on here. There's Matt Jackson's catchphrase. Feedback's been great for Dynamite. NXT Crisis. NXT dropped down to small size. So that's interesting to see. They are not medium size anymore. They are small size. So very interesting to see there, as they are right behind us. We are third in the world right now, behind New Japan and WWE, and then NXT is behind us, but they dropped down to small size. So we'll have to see what happens with that, because it clearly looks like they're losing popularity at this point. So we may not have to worry about them gaining on us right now, which is kind of ironic, since, in real life we just had that whole thing happen. For those who are watching this plenty of years in the future or whatever, we just had the Title Tuesday whatever thing going on, where Dynamite ran on Tuesday the same night as NXT, and everybody freaked out because NXT, supposedly killed Dynamite in the ratings, even though Dynamite was on a different night, and NXT threw out The Undertaker and John Cena and like all its big stars that it could. But whatever. This Dynamite was good for 5th of all time for our show rating. So we're still churning out good shows. We're still churning out shows that are right there in the top 10 every single time. Match-wise, don't think any match broke into that echelon. It was more of like segments that helped us out with this episode of Dynamite. Attendance-wise, still right there behind, In fact, this attendance actually beat a couple of the first Dynamite shows, so that's good to see. Ratings-wise, so 0.57, so it was just behind a Dynamite we had last month, but hey, I'll still take it. I'll still take that. I will still take that indeed. So there you go. Successful Dynamite coming out of Revolution. We'll have to see what happens now. We've got Jonathan Fatu here, who just laid out Cody Rhodes to end Dynamite. Jericho and Moxley still seem to be on some sort of collision path with each other. Jay Lethal is claiming that the only reason why he's not the world champion is because of Samoa Joe, so they're probably going to have to collide at some point. The Young Bucks trying to figure out what they have to do to take on the tag team champions to actually defeat them this time. Kaufman and Statlander proving that they're not leaving the Bunny and Rosemary alone. There's just so many storylines going on in AEW, and that's what's exciting to see. But that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in a future video.